Hello and welcome to Three Sisters, One Heart podcast. I'm Shannon.
I'm Tiffany.
I'm Heather.
And today is our 2-year podiversary.
Podcastiversary.
Podcastiversary.
I've been calling it both.
whatever works.
I like podiversary.
We've been
It kinda
doing
flows
this.
better.
Yeah, podiversary.
Mhm.
Yeah. We've been doing this for 2 years.
Woo!
So super fun. I'm grateful for it. I think it's been a huge bonding experience.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And brought us a lot closer. So I think it's been really great in that aspect. So today we're just going to talk a little bit about kind of what we learned, some future goals, and go from there.
But before we do, let's go ahead and get into our trials and triumphs from this past 2 weeks. So I'll go first.
Mm-hmm.
Let me, what did I write? Oh, so my trial, in probably I could say it was all of our trials, is that last weekend we switched houses.
Oh, yeah.
We moved. Heather has been living in our grandma's house, and with Charlotte as a new addition, she just didn't have enough space anymore. And so her family decided to buy our parents' house, and my parents are moving into my grandma's house and are going to do some renovations to it. So we've had like a moving party essentially, where we swapped both houses at the same time.
Yeah, moving is
In one
hectic
day.
as it is, but whenever
When
you're
you're moving two
and-
houses to flip,
at the same
So
time,
much work.
yeah, it was a lot.
It was really crazy, but
I
it was
mean-
good. It was fast. We got it done. I thought, oh, maybe we might need more than a day, but
Yeah.
it really
no,
was
we had half a day
legit.
and
Mom-
houses switched.
Mom did really, really well with planning and
Yeah.
had teams worked out, and that I think made it flawless. It just went really, really well. So, what's your trial? Was it probably the same?
No, actually my trial is we had a doctor's appointment for Matthew because we have doctor's appointments for them about every 3 months anyways because they're ADHD, they have to be kept up on.
Monitored, yeah.
But Matthew's teacher sent me an email asking if he had glasses. No, do you think he needs them? I've never really had any
Oh.
issues with his eyes. She goes, well, I realize if he's really focusing on something, his left eye kind of wanders. I was like,
Oh.
something I'll talk to his doctor about. So, and I've definitely noticed more a lot because I'm paying much more attention now. 'cause
Yeah.
someone else is pointing it out. It's definitely noticeable. So we have to get a referral to an ophthalmologist. Find one that hopefully takes our insurance, but our insurance, especially with vision, is really finicky.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's more likely we're going to have to pay out of pocket for possibly a patch, which not too expensive.
Yeah.
Or if it's worse and needs more than just muscle strengthening, is the next step is surgery.
Yeah,
So-
That's
hopefully just the
scary.
patch.
That's terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
They
Surgery
have
on the
them.
elbow.
So I
I know it's been pretty clear that we're going to be paying for it without help from the other side of the family.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
the other parent,
Yeah.
the other parents or whatever. Yeah.
So.
That being said, I knew this little boy that would come to story time all the time, and he had, I guess, similar, where he had to wear an eye patch all the time.
You
he
wear
was
the eye patch
very
over the
little.
good eye,
Yes.
and it strengthens because
He
it's
was
making the other
very,
one.
very little,
It's supposed to be taking care of younger, but
and it was
didn't.
like almost like a sticker.
Yeah.
Which is so nice. I don't have to worry about the strap or anything. And like he would have different, he'd have like dinosaurs.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
make it more fun and
So
stuff.
it might not be as terrible as it seems, but you always worry for your kid.
It just sucks because he's in that age where kids are assholes and they're gonna pick fun, and so
That part sucks.
It's worrisome. I get it.
Well, hopefully the patch works and it won't be anything more severe. At least until he's a little older. I feel like kids in surgery is terrifying.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I didn't really have a big trial this week. I mean,
That's
moving,
awesome.
I was part of it, but because I have back injuries, I can't physically move anything. So I literally was just hanging out and holding the baby the whole time. So I really
That's awesome.
I really
I
can't
felt
complain.
super over because I literally couldn't do anything. I was a
Yeah.
week out from having her.
Yeah.
2 weeks, whatever.
barely. 2
yeah.
weeks yet.
So I'm still not supposed to be lifting anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt just super overwhelmed and unhelpful.
Yeah. But I guess my trial would be we had to take both the dogs to the vet, which I know doesn't sound like much, but I have big dogs.
Yes.
I have a husky and he's a mutt, but we think he's like lab rot something mix. So, you get the idea of the size.
He's not small.
And taking 2 dogs to the vet at COVID times right now, only one person can go in. I find it to be very overwhelming. I don't know why. And I was talking to my sisters earlier, but my dogs had gotten in a scuffle, and Roxo, one of my dogs, he got his ear a little nick. And they were fine, and it was fine. It stopped the bleeding, and everything was fine. But I was like, this vet's gonna judge me. They're gonna think I'm the worst pet parent ever. And they're like, it's normal. It happens. Dogs are like kids. They fight sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, and obviously you want to do what you can to decrease the occurrences of it, and it's not something that happens very often. But it was just leading up to it. I had so much anxiety about like the logistics of how we were gonna figure it out. Oh yeah. And just how it was gonna work out. So it was just as stressful, and it was on a Monday, of course.
Of course. That's the worst day.
On top of work being insane, but I feel like I always complain about work or school, so there's something different for
It's
you.
real life. What can you do?
Mhm.
All right. So on that note, let's go ahead and pop open our celebratory
Yes.
to your bubbles here.
I'm so excited that you're able to drink with
Well, at
us.
least
I
the
mean,
nip.
not very much.
Just
I was
a
saying,
nip.
I
a
don't
little
plan on
sip.
drinking much. That is gonna fly off and hit
Just a
something.
Yeah, you
Cheers.
might want to carry over top of it. I don't want to ruin your TV. Oh.
Good lord.
Ooh, nice pop, as the wine and crime gals would say.
That's awesome. So, Heather, what is one thing that you like about the podcast?
I just like all of us getting together.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite part is just the time that we spend together, and it
Causes us to make time.
it makes us be more
Whoa.
intentional.
Should have tipped it.
Goodness gracious. Makes us be more intentional with our time. I think my favorite thing is that I've traditionally been somebody who's very passive and easygoing, but I've found that I've developed a lot more opinions
Oh yeah.
on things now, on things that I didn't think to have an opinion on before.
Interesting. That's great.
So I feel like I'm a little more cultured.
Well, it may be, there are conversations that are either hard to have or we just don't have enough experience, so we feel like we can't be a part of the conversation. And I'll say, reflecting not just on the podcast, but on this last year in general, that if I've become anything, I've become more aware of the need to talk about things, even if they're uncomfortable, because you find a way of understanding them better or differently or more thoroughly. So
Cheers.
Cheers.
To 2 years.
Happy 2 years.
Did we
I
get
don't
it?
think ours actually touched now.
Should we do it one more time?
Mhm.
Okay.
There we go. I'm not editing that.
Oh, this is yummy.
It is actually very good.
It's so busy.
Yeah.
You don't like it?
No, I do.
Okay.
I'm nervous.
It's been a while.
We
It's
should
okay.
do.
We'll drink yours. Don't worry.
You know, it'd be fun. We should do, and you would probably have a lot of fun with it. Is a wine tasting episode.
Oh, I would love that.
She's very, very into all these different wines now.
Okay,
Do
so this is what
wine
had happened.
and cheese, but we can do
Wine and cheese.
vegan cheese.
A
of
cheese
course.
with a Z.
Yeah.
CHEEZE. Cheers. We actually.
She accidentally became a wine connoisseur.
So yeah, what had happened was, first off, we started this podcast because I had started listening to podcasts on my own. My first favorite and beloved found podcast was, and That's Why We Drink. Kudos.
My favorite.
To those.
I have a whole group. My mom's
House.
group is from that
That's
podcast.
so awesome.
That's really cool.
And they're the chillest, no judgment, It's awesome.
Well, from there, I also found Chick Peeps podcast, which is a really great vegan podcast. Savage Love podcast, which is a really, really great. Did you guys ever listen to Loveline? Like on the radio?
Oh, yeah.
Or I think it was
Like
on
Delilah.
TV or a little while. No, not
No.
Delilah. Loveline with like Dr. Drew. Love.
Yeah. But it would like be similar to like how Delilah was, right?
Kind of,
Maybe?
except for they hit more hard like relationship questions.
Oh, okay.
They talk about the birds and the bees kind of stuff. So
Not the
anyhow,
birds and the
Savage
bees.
Love cast is done by Dan Savage, and he just gives really, really great advice. And it's interesting hearing like people's problems, and then it's almost like sitting in on somebody's little therapy session.
Yeah.
You can take little pieces away from it. So I found that podcast I really loved. And then from And That's Why We Drink, they did a crossover episode with Wine and Crime, who, man, I just fell in love with those gals. Gals, if you hear me, loving on you. And because of Wine and Crime, I started to learn a little bit about wine. They always pair their topic with a fun wine. Usually it has to do with the name of the wine or the label.
I think that's really cool. That must take a lot of work, but I think
yeah.
that's really cool.
They got their shit together. Although I think that if they heard someone say that, they'd be like, who are you talking to?
Right, yeah.
You know, just like us, really. Although they have their shit more together than us.
Yeah.
Yeah, big time. But so through them, I started to like learn a little bit about wines. And we had planned last year to go on a cruise, and through the cruise, you can do this thing where you can like pay a chunk of money and have like
The booze card.
Drink vouchers.
yes, like a drink vouchers, but it was like so much. And like if you had 2 grown-ups to a room, both grown-ups had to be a part of it. And like my husband just doesn't drink.
Right. In order for it to be worth the money, you had to be real committed to drinking.
Exactly. And I just knew I wasn't. I knew that in a 4-day cruise, I would have one really probably shit-faced day, and then
The rest
barely,
would just be chill.
barely drinking at all. Like maybe a mimosa at breakfast to feel like a part of something
Yeah.
vacation-y, you know? But with that is that they allow you 1 bottle of wine. So I realized real quick that I needed to branch out from just drinking like, you know, girly rosé, sparkly type wines to drinking something sturdier if I really wanted to get a bang for my buck. And if anyone knows me in real life, they would say I'm
Frugal
frugal.
is
I would
the
say
kind way to
cheap,
put it.
but that's not really appropriate.
Yeah.
I'm very frugal. I want best value for the least amount of money spent. I gotta find that sweet in between sweet spot. And so anyhow, I learned from Wine and Crime. I was learning about different wine varietals, and like there were certain wines that I always thought like, oh yeah, gross, this isn't it for me. But now through learning a little bit more about them, I'm finding like, oh no, like you can't just try one, you know, Zinfandel and be like, oh no, Zinfandels, or one Chardonnay and be like, oh no, that's terrible. Like
You had to try several.
different vineyards, different techniques, different you know, grapes and vintages and things like that. So I'm learning a little bit about wines. I do really enjoy a Zinfandel because I find I prefer reds. I like whites too, but I prefer reds. And I like a Zinfandel because it has a nice, bold, strong flavor, as it usually has a high ABV of around 13 to 15 depending, which is high for a wine. This is what, 6?
Probably nothing
9?
too crazy.
9? I hate when you can't find it. They always put it somewhere
9.5.
different. 9.5,
Oh.
that's more than a beer.
I think
For like the whole thing or 8
it's
glass?
kind of a fun tribute to like how just something as simple as a podcast
Oh,
can really
yeah.
just change your. I mean, I know that like being more into wine doesn't change your life, like in the typical
Can
aspect.
open you up. Though.
Yeah, it
Something
opens you
new.
up and it helps you explore different things, and I think that's really cool.
Also
social
found-
media can do that.
Yeah, exactly. I also found, like Christine from And That's Why We Drink, I also love a nice Syrah, usually from Australia, in case
Oh,
you
yeah.
were wondering.
I think my favorite is the blue wine from Italy.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that was really good.
It was good. I don't know what kind of wine you spilling already. I don't know. I
Again.
have no idea what kind of wine it is, but when we were in Italy,
They sold it at the
yeah,
I had to hunt it down when I got
The
it.
Whiny Wind?
Yes, I was trying to think of
I
the
think
name.
that's where we ended up finding it.
Mm-hmm.
The
She's
blue and
fine.
pink. This is not grumpy.
She's
They're just making
yeah.
noises. So, but yeah, when we were in Italy, like I found a new favorite, but it's very hard to find. But I'm not a huge drinker. I went through a stage in my life that I was really concerned that I was going to be a too much drinker, but life happens, and
Yeah. And
now I
aging
don't.
happens. Like honestly, like I cannot hang like I used to.
Exactly. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Oh no.
I get hangovers so easily.
Yeah, like
And it makes no sense. It's like nights that like I should feel like crap the next day. I don't.
you're fine.
But like this one glass, I'll probably feel like crap tomorrow.
No.
That's how it happens for me. I don't know. Like New Year's, I was fine.
You
And I had
also
a
too,
good
I feel like
chunk.
if you try to do all the things, like you have to make sure you eat beforehand, make sure you drink all
Drink
your water.
water.
Sometimes that helps, and sometimes it still doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I can drink the same amount. You know, it just depends on what your body
There's
where
no way.
it's at that moment. So.
Yeah.
So anyhow, that's basically how I got on to the thought of like, man, there's a I realized that there's a podcast on everything.
Mhm.
There is
Yes.
a podcast on everything. And so I thought, like, how nice would it be, like, just to have a podcast with my sisters? Like, we're all really different. Like, we're very similar too, but like in a lot of ways we're very different.
Mhm.
And it might be interesting to one, get together on a habitual in a habitual kind of
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, I will say this podcast is absolutely her baby. This is
Oh,
your
well, it's
your
our baby.
brainchild. I mean, we've all put the work into it. We have, but
I just put the idea
out there and like, no, we could actually do this.
I
Like,
did have to push it twice.
Yeah.
I think I come at you guys with stuff all the time, and then you guys
Yeah.
are like, "Oh, Tiffany,
Yeah.
like what are you gonna say now?"
Yeah.
But I did have to. I brought it up, and then you guys were like, "Oh yeah, maybe." And then I just kept listening to podcasts, and I just kept thinking like, oh, we could do this topic. Like,
Yeah.
oh, it'd be interesting to see what each of us thought about such and such a topic.
Well, I thought it would be harder to open up, but it's not like you're live.
yeah.
Oh yeah. I feel the same. So I always wonder like how many baby noises like the video captures. Like, do we look like we're just crazy?
Well,
I don't know. We're just baby crazy right now.
That's funny though, because there have been like, again, I listen to a lot of podcasts. It's very nice with nannying because like I walk a lot with the
Yeah.
kids, and they're in their strollers and stuff, and I can just have it on in the background.
Mhm.
And some stuff it's like, yeah, you really want to focus on, and some stuff you don't even have to really focus that much on. Oh, and I will say another podcast I've really been enjoying, and Heather, I think I sent you her link on Instagram because you guys were pregnant around the same time. She just had her baby a week ago, is the Papaya podcast, which is run by the Birds Papaya, who has a huge following. They're Canadian, and they have a BOPO women's kind of specializing in like women's health and needs and community. Podcast, and that's been really nice and easy to listen to around the kids. Like, so for instance, I can't always listen to Wine and Crime around the kids.
Right. Yeah.
But Papaya podcast usually it's fine. They're not even paying attention.
Yeah, I can't around my kids, but if I'm working, some days I tend to not have as many meetings, and I have like more monotonous like spreadsheet work kind of thing, to where I can listen to my podcast. And I think my favorite go-to is Bailey Sarian, and she does
the makeup and the
murder mystery and makeup.
Oh,
And she has a YouTube as well, of course. But and the makeup really isn't part of it. She's like amazing with makeup, but it's more like she's like, I just don't know what to do with my hands, so I do my makeup.
Oh,
but she does like, she covers like different whether they're solved or not. Just different murder mysteries, and I love it. I don't know why, but those kind of things.
I binge watched. Oh crap! What was it?
You forgot the name?
It's a 90 investigation
Yeah, it's
discovery
on
show.
Netflix. I think.
Is it the one I suggested?
No,
I suggest a lot.
That one.
There's two.
Snapped
watch that one.
or Knives with Wives or Wives
No.
with Knives.
Oh, I don't know
No,
that
I haven't
one.
watched any of those. 'Cause
Oh, Those tend to
We're going to end up on Snapped one day, alright?
Those tend to be my favorite shows, and Ben is like, do I need to be worried? Like, no, they're just my favorites. I don't know.
Every time I think of that
Maybe
Snap
I think
show,
it was all the Cold Case ones.
oh, the one that
The new season of Cold Case, it was like 15
regular
episodes.
Cold Case?
Yeah.
There's new season?
It was the second season
Oh
on Netflix.
my
Or a second
God.
season.
Oh my god, I gotta catch up.
But I watched through them all. And I was going to bed last night and I was like, alright. And Bob was going, are you going to bed already? I was like, well, I'm going to lay in bed and I'm going to go watch my crime and settle in. He goes, it kind of terrifies me. That's how you settle in.
Yeah.
No, I have the best song for you. Nova showed it to me, and it was actually written in reference, in an homage to And That's Why We Drink.
Ooh,
and it's a song, and she's like, I watch a lot of true crime. I watch it late at night.
That's
I
perfect.
like the girl talk vibes. It makes me feel alright. And it keeps going on and on, but it's really cute. And my kid showed that to me. She's like, Mom, I think you'll really like this song.
It's always iffy when they say
I
you
know.
like something.
I know.
You never know what you're gonna
No,
get with those
It's
ones.
so true.
So, what are things that I don't know? What is something that you didn't expect to find?
Let's see. Well,
I'll tell you where that's coming from. Mine is I thought that it would be easier to have this word anonymity, be more anonymous. That I could be
anonymity.
Yeah.
Anonymity.
Yeah. But I go into this wanting to really respect my kids' privacy.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And that is still very important to me. But I thought it would be a lot easier to talk about my kids without
Talking about
my kids. Like, obviously, there's only two options. It could be who I'm talking about.
Right, exactly.
So there's that. But then also, there's different age ranges and stuff like that. And I hope that they realize one day, like, anything that might come off as a complaint or anything negative, like, they're not allowed to watch it right now. But
That's
if they ever
probably the
do,
best.
like, it turns into my venting. Like, I
Oh,
vent the
yeah.
hard stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's like therapeutic.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so
So I worry that it's gonna maybe come off as negative, and if it ever has, I absolutely adore my children. I have an unhealthy obsession with my children,
yeah.
but sometimes they drive me crazy.
But I don't think anyone would fault you for that. It's very natural. It's very yin yang. Life is all about balance. Like, you
It
gotta
is
have.
perfectly acceptable to think your kid's an asshole one day, but still love the shit out of them.
Yeah.
They can be an asshole and an angel in the same day.
Oh, yeah.
Heck, in the same hour. You never
yeah.
know. You never know what you're gonna get. So this is interesting that you bring this up because for me, I have no problem opening up to anyone. And I do understand though, like I did have the similar kind of like a hesitation, and like I talk pretty openly about my kids' stuff too. I wasn't super worried about it. They know how I am. I'm embarrassing mom. I guess everyone has a certain kind of mom. I'm embarrassing mom. I'm the mom that's gonna say whatever is poignant at the moment, and you go with it because this is gonna happen. And I kind of thought that, you know, like you said, it would be hard. I didn't think it would be hard for me to open up and talk, but I did think that I would still have like a worry of being judged or being, you know, I was worried we would get called out on things. So far we have hardly any following, so we haven't got called out on much of anything.
Which is,
so there's that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's the positive side to it still being very small.
Yeah. But I found it free in a lot of ways.
It is. It's very therapeutic, and I don't feel the same way about myself. I thought it would be difficult. I thought it would be easier to keep my kids more anonymous. But I thought it would be difficult for me to open up about myself.
Oh, right.
And it's become the opposite. It's completely therapeutic. It's a way to, granted, there's not very many people, and that's okay.
Right.
I'm doing my part to reduce the stigma of mental health illness, and different issues, and I don't even know the PG or the correct way to say
That's
that.
okay.
I don't mean
Don't
any
come
harm.
at us.
I mean, I struggle, so if anyone's gonna get offended, I'm in that bucket too.
Right.
So, but I don't know. I found that I almost, while there's not a big following, I feel like I have an accountability. Like,
Yeah.
I am gonna go on here and I'm gonna talk about mental health, so you have to get your ass out of bed. You can't.
Right.
You don't get to lay around and be depressed and then talk about ways to be positive in mental health.
Yeah.
So it's been very, I don't know, like growth inspiring.
Yeah, well, I think this is a great point. So I understand what you're saying. It does give you a sense of accountability. So for instance, there's been times where everybody goes through seasons in life, you know, emotions even can be very cyclical. And I feel like there has been episodes that we've done that, you know, in the episode I'm like, and self-care, we need to do this, that, and the other for self-care. Oh, you're struggling? You need some self-care. And there's been times in my life where I'm struggling and then we're getting ready to podcast and I'm trying to like think of topics. So like I'll go through what we've already done topics on, and I'll even watch some of the videos, and I'll be like, oh girl,
take your own advice.
You need to get yourself some self-care. And what it does is it just reinforces that point, you know. It reinforces it. You know, we've also had we've had some great conversations on boundaries and different kind of relationships, whether it's with our spouse, our friends, our kids, or our siblings. And you know, having some tools and tricks to kind of pull from that information to actually apply to real life. You know, so it goes both ways. It's like it can help you you remember those things, but also it can push you, like practice what you preach kind of thing.
Yeah.
How do you feel, Heather?
I think it's helped you open up a lot.
Yeah, compared to the first episodes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it's definitely helped me open up more. I try very hard now to not interrupt because I felt like I had to interrupt.
Yeah,
because I wasn't getting any words.
Yeah,
I had to jump in, and then I got in too much of a habit of jumping in. So now I try and keep my mouth shut until there's a pause. Then I realize I'm reverting back to what I was, and now I'm in like this tangle of.
I would rather you jump in than not speak.
No, what she's
Mommy
talking
yelled at
about.
me.
Oh god.
Well, Mommy gonna yell at all of us because if we're wrong, she's gonna tell us.
Yeah, the first episodes we were like, Heather, you've got to like open up more, and it's hard for her because she's just a little more closed off than we are.
Closed off doesn't sound appropriate.
Yeah, that's
she's
not.
a little. No.
A little more laid back.
No.
Reserved.
There you go.
No.
Yeah.
I always want to say like withdrawn, but that's not it. You're a little more introverted. It's a little harder for you to put yourself out there. Open up sounds good.
Yeah.
You're right. Open up.
It's harder to open up.
I just don't want to say something that sounds like has some kind of negative connotation. Because it's not negative. It's just a personality trait.
Yeah. But she took that advice really well, and then it was almost like we were all interrupting each other. But I think we've kind of come to a good balance.
I try very hard not to interrupt, and then
I mean, it happens.
You're fine.
I still do.
It's how a conversation happens. I mean,
we could do a whole podcast on why you shouldn't interrupt. To be quite honest, I have always been a really terrible interrupter, and it's something I have had to work on most of my life. But it was in my maybe early mid-20s that I actually had a friend that I had interrupted, and they were like, dude, I love you, you're awesome, but you have to stop interrupting me. And I was like, oh my God, I do that. Like, it's like you
I
don't
catch myself doing it a lot, and I'm just like, shut up.
Yeah. Bring it back. So like, so what it is that I try to do now is, and I'm learning this in therapy, is that not only is it important not to interrupt, but it's important to pause and to really think on what the person is saying, because you don't want to be an inactive listener either.
Yeah.
It's not okay just to not interrupt if you're literally just waiting the whole time to get your piece out there and you aren't focused.
You're listening to respond, not listening to understand.
Man.
That is the biggest like mantra. Like I tell my kids, like no, like stop, breathe for a second. Listen to the words that I'm saying.
Right.
Don't listen just so that you can tell me I'm wrong. And it's actually worked really well for us.
Good.
So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think you're doing fine. I don't have any issues with you.
No, you're fine.
I just thought it was really funny that I thought it was great that you took the advice so well that it almost went the other way.
Too much.
Which you said it did, and maybe Mom did too, but I didn't think it was like that a huge deal. So don't think on it too much.
Well, Mommy is our biggest fan, and
Yes.
she is just trying to help our podcast along.
And
as
she's
best
our biggest
can.
critic, and I appreciate that. It might,
Yeah.
even if it's hard to hear, she'll tell you like it is.
Yeah.
Turns out I touch my hair a lot. I try not to, which is why actually most times you'll see I have my hair up because I know that I have no willpower. So I usually leave my hair up so that I won't mess with it because I caught myself, and now whenever like I edit the videos, I'm like, oh my god, I touch my hair so much.
That's so funny. I maybe fidget a lot. Like, I don't know what
I'm
I do.
constantly
That
fidgeting.
is, Mommy, write in the comments below.
Yeah, what's Sydney's thing? You've already pointed out our things.
She cackles way too loud. She said, Tiffany, shh, you're way too loud.
We do. Whenever we record, right now I don't have to, but whenever we were recording on a different device, I had to put it in front of Heather and further from Tiffany because Heather was too quiet and Tiffany was too loud.
Just have a big mouth.
And
Like,
not
can't
that I'm
help it.
perfect, but I'm like the
You're
mediocre.
more in between.
Yeah.
She's the middle child. What can you do?
Go figure. That would be where we do follow Bertha.
Yeah, it is. That's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's funny. So, with our podcast anniversary, we went through our first year. Fabulous. We decided at the end of our first year that we wanted to start doing more. We loved it. We wanted to start doing more weekly podcasts. And our last podiversary was January, I believe it's the 27th. So, which we are a couple days early
it's my
to that.
husband's
But by the
birthday.
time this posts, it should be pretty close. So anyhow, through the second year, in January, we're gonna do weekly podcasts, and we started off okay, and then COVID. And so one of our last episodes before COVID hit was our episode on health, and it was on March 22nd. And you guys know we live in Florida, or you folks, we live in Florida, and it was so interesting because we did the episode on health, and in that episode we were talking about like things that we do to keep ourselves and our families healthy.
Yeah, because I think that the idea kind of came up because COVID was starting to be, but we had no idea.
Yeah, we had no idea what we were
clue.
getting into.
Yeah.
And so I just thought it was interesting. I think there's maybe one episode after that, and then we drop off for like 3 months.
Yeah, I did recently listen to that episode again, and listening to it now, I don't think at that time it sounded that way, but listening to it now, it sounded so flippant. Like, we just said, it's fine, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
And now we're like, sanitize, do everything, do all the things. Like, it's different. It's a completely different world.
It is. And we know something we didn't expect, like we didn't expect that we were going to go into lockdown, and we didn't know what that was going to look like. And then coming back from that, we weren't sure, like, should we be together? Should we even come together? We were so scared.
Do we want to, and if we do come together, do we want to advertise that?
Is that okay?
Is that acceptable? Is that, if anybody does see that, you want to make sure that the message that you're putting out there is proper.
Well, you don't want to hurt someone.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing. So, like, you imagine that there are people out there, and possibly viewers out there, who have lost a loved one to COVID, and here we are sitting close on the couch, wearing no masks, and
Right, you certainly don't want to
each
become
other.
insensitive on anything.
Exactly, and you don't want to hurt someone's feelings or be insensitive. So, and that just kind of pushes us further. So basically, the conclusion that I've come to with this, and Mywood might get some flack for this, but it is what it is. For me personally, and we've talked on here many times about how important our family is to us. My job, I am with one family and I'm home, and that's it. And the only people outside of my home bubble are my slightly extended family, which is literally you guys and our parents.
And I work from home, and Heather does not work.
And at first I was afraid of that. I was afraid to be around our parents, But it kind of got, for me personally, to this point where it was like, this is not life to me.
Right, you have to find the balance.
Yeah.
I need more than that. And like,
Yeah.
kudos to the people out there that are literally stuck in their apartments and have no access to people. I feel for, as a person that needs people, I feel for you in that. And I apologize that here we are sitting close together, no masks on, and we're making that choice, and we're not trying to say that that isn't okay, that's the right choice.
Yeah, I think really what it comes down to is just that we hope for the understanding that we don't always have the right answer.
No,
but we
hardly
always
ever.
we always have the best intentions.
Yes.
We certainly never have negative intentions. And we're just doing what is best for our mental health and our physical health at the same time.
I just felt the need to say that. Like, please, by all means, do what you need to do to keep you healthy and safe. For us and for me personally, I need this.
I'm sorry. I know I was texting. My family is starving, and I was supposed to make dinner. And now he's like, "Should I just order dinner?" And I'm like,
Yes.
Order
dinner.
That's awesome.
Which sucks because there was meat taken out.
You
I was
can make it
supposed to
tomorrow.
cook.
It'll be fine.
Tomorrow.
I know, but Mom's like, "You're always ordering food." I didn't do it. I had intentions to cook.
If your husband orders it, it's not the same thing.
It's all his money.
My husband
Even
cooked
better.
dinner tonight. I told him, I was like, hey, I'm going to go at 5:30. Do you want me to cook an early dinner? And he's like, no, I got it.
That's so nice. What's he making?
The baked spaghetti.
Oh, good on him.
Yeah.
My husband
He
makes
calls
veggie
it fake lasagna. I don't know why, because
because the noodles are different, but it's
No,
like
well, we
cheese
do.
and sauce.
We don't use lasagna noodles. We
Yeah.
do like penne pasta. But it's like Alfredo and spaghetti sauce mixed, and like it's like a baked spaghetti, and it sounds weird, right?
It makes
It's
it
amazing.
It's cheese and sauce.
Yeah.
Come on.
But then you add cheese
Sounds
over
delicious.
it. It's so good. We'll
it's
have to
like
post
when I
it
do
one
the
day.
pasta bake, but I don't put Alfredo.
Mhm.
You do 1 jar of sauce, and then you do 1 jar, almost full, not just slightly not, of water, and you just mix it into your pan,
Oh.
and I throw cheese on top of mine, and then you throw it in, and you cover it, and you bake it.
Yeah, just
Ugh,
that easy.
done.
It's
the
so
best.
good.
And
But
it tastes like a lasagna or something. It tastes different than just cooking it on the stove.
I was talking to my friend the other day, and I told her, I was like, you know what, like, marriages have highs and lows.
Oh,
Always.
hallelujah.
And I found that the other day I was like, I think that we're in a high. Like, we're communicating really well. We're working together really well.
Heck yeah, ride that wave.
Yeah, he found that he was getting kind of like bored with the same old stuff for dinner.
Okay.
And instead of complaining about it, like he started looking for recipes and making them.
Wow.
Oh, see,
Like-
now mine will be like, "You should
And I
make
was
this."
like,
Really?
and I told my friend, and I was like, I have to stop myself from being a little bit resentful. And she's like, what? And I was like, I feel like in the good times, like I know you can be good.
Mhm.
So whenever we're in the bad times,
You're like, this is not your
I
best.
hesitate to even say bad times because really I don't feel like we have any significant
It's just
issues.
off
Yeah,
times.
things get
We
yeah,
all
off
get
times.
those.
Like I almost like I know that you can because you have no excuse
Oh,
to
yeah.
act this way.
Yeah.
But like things have been
Guilty.
like he's been on it. He's been on it.
That's so awesome.
And yesterday he
My
offered to
only-
hire somebody to clean the house because he didn't want to help me.
By
clean
all
it.
means.
Yes.
And I was like, no, I'll do it, but I do appreciate the fact that you are recognizing that you're not helping by at least offering to hire somebody.
Wow.
Sorry, she's just a grumbly baby.
She's okay. I like it.
And she's cozy. She's like an added little co-host.
Yeah.
We'll keep her around until she gets a little too big, to where she's like distracting.
I'm a big fan of attachment parenting. So
Yeah,
she
like,
can be around as much as
I don't
she
know
needs
how
to.
long that's gonna be because he's deploying. So
No, that's what
Get
I'm
out.
saying is that she can stay. Like I like her here. That wasn't like meant to be like she has a like
I was like,
expiration
When she,
date.
when she hits about 2,
That
she's
did sound
needy.
bad. I'm
oh
sorry.
no, two, she can stay with it.
Right, when they start messing with stuff and not sitting still and whatever, but right now she's like, oh, I got boobs here, I'm good.
She's
Golden.
like, I'm just gonna sleep and have some.
Look
milk
at
and
like
then
she's just
sleep.
like chilled.
Perfect.
I think we should do more episodes like this, more relaxed. I like this one so far.
Yeah.
We're not even done and I love it.
I'm into it too. So that's something I guess we kind of want to talk to you guys about. So we were thinking and reflecting upon this past year, and like, yeah, it's been a little bit weird. It's been a little bit messy. If we reflect back on the past 2 years, we have about 58, I believe, episodes
this is
total,
59.
which about averages over the past 2 years to two episodes a month. And of course, you know, last year,
Sometimes more, sometimes less. It's just how luck of the draw.
last year, right around our podiversary, is when we actually started the YouTube. So like technically, we're at about a year anniversary for YouTube as well. So we're totally still learning things. You know, like we put in what we can, but sometimes it just depends. Like every month, it can be a little different. Like maybe one month I dropped the ball a little bit. It's okay, because I got my sisters to help out.
We've been through those, and we've gone through. I'll schedule something to release, and it's like, hey, why isn't that posted a week later? Because we just realized. Like,
we are still learning.
Shannon screwed up because she's still learning.
We're still learning.
And it's been a lot of trial and error.
And still is. Yeah,
and I think last year we had a lot of goals that we wanted to meet, but we weren't able to this year because honestly, I think this year was just about surviving.
Yes.
There was not a whole lot of growth happening
this year.
And a lot of learning how to be you in a different way and have your needs met in a different way.
It's been interesting.
You know, I went from somebody who worked away from the home for 60 hours a week and traveled, you know, at one point I was traveling at least half the month to I am home with my family all the time, nonstop. I work from home, everything. And I if I had to choose the two, I absolutely prefer being home. It's just they're only little for so long, you know? But there's cons to every situation. It's hard. I'm finding that I really valued that alone time.
Right. That's the cats.
We always have some sort of something going on.
Probably no one heard it. All the time when I listen to podcasts, they'll be like, oh, that's the dog. And I'll be like, what? I didn't hear nothing. Try to just let it go. Yeah, my cat is scratching at the door right now. Apologies.
But yeah. So it's just been a weird year. So a lot of our goals going into year 2, or I guess it would rather be going into year 3.
Right.
Are very similar or the same even as previously, but hopefully we just got a better shot at it this year.
Yeah, a little more structure.
And I'm not counting it as a failure because we survived this year and
we're still a podcast.
Yes.
And we're on YouTube still.
Yeah.
So there's all of that. I feel like, you know, we have these great ideas. We have some thoughts of what we want to do. It's just really kind of hard taking all of this like different kind of things and scheduling and freaking networking and algorithms.
We have very different lives.
Tying it all together. I think organization is going to be our goal for this year.
Organization is hard for us because a
lot of moving parts.
There are so many moving parts. I mean, you've got Heather who doesn't work, but she's got kids.
But just recently.
And takes them. Yeah, exactly. It's only very recently. But I work a lot, but I'm at home. But I do work, but I'm at home.
But a lot.
Yeah, and then you're away from the home, not too much, but you are. And it's like it's all just so different that we don't really have like what time every day, one time that we could touch base, or it's all just here's this group message, catch up when you can.
Right.
So
and you know, and
it makes things like that hard.
And any family stuff come first, like whether it's our individual families and their needs, or us family and its needs, like those obviously take priority for us. And so sometimes if things have to get pushed back a little bit, they get pushed back a little bit.
And a big part is that I'm still in school and I can't commit to a whole lot right now.
That's true.
Because I work full time. I have 2 kids, a husband, and I also am in school full time. So probably 80, if not more, hours a week I'm in front of a computer.
Too much.
So that makes it very difficult to be able to commit to being in front of the computer even more to edit videos and such. And I actually really enjoy doing it. I do. But at the end of the day, it is work.
It's still work.
Yeah.
No, I get that. It's just like researching for topics. That can seem like work. Even if it's something juicy and you're really into it, you still got to take that time and set it aside from something else. Then that's the thing. It's always like, you know, how to fit it all in on your limited amount of time and what takes priority. You know, and in the end, we're always going to have each other. I'm grateful for this podcast, but like there have been times where it's like, it's not happening.
It has to go on the back burner.
Yeah. It's not happening this week. And while we're not saying that's not going to happen in this next year, I think our biggest goal for this year is
for it to happen less.
To stay more scheduled, to stay more organized. We did try to do the weekly podcasting, and then COVID threw us off, and then just getting back into the habit and back into like into our new norm, I guess. A schedule, but a different schedule. Just was really challenging. So I really think like right now we're going to stick to the bi-weekly. Bi-weekly is manageable. We can have time to prepare ahead.
I think we have really fun ideas of whenever I'm not in school. I think I'm the one holding us back.
No.
I know that
sounds... holding us back in some way.
I don't mean that to sound negative. It just... The facts are the facts is that my schedule is what's inhibiting us at the moment. Because it does take a lot of work, and it's a lot of fun work.
Yeah.
But it does.
Hey, he can fend for himself. He's making hot dogs.
Look at him go.
Thank you.
He's cooking? I mean, I know. It's still, I'm color me impressed.
Yes.
What's going on,
Look at that stretch, though. You see that arm? Man, she is so excited about all this arm room. I have just that's all it's like.
But they're always in her face. It's so cute.
Oh.
I'm sorry. See, like, I feel like her arm is uncomfortable, but every time I move it, she puts it back up.
Yeah. Well, remember when we did the sonogram, and I believe we posted it on the Instagram.
They're all on the
all
face.
Up near her face. Yeah.
It's her thing.
So sweetie.
But yeah, so some goals going forward is to be more active. We definitely I would like to be more interactive.
Yeah.
I can, in my own personal life, I can be very secluded. And I think that social media is a really, really great outlet. And I am so open to that being more feedback and things along those lines. Like feedback, conversation. I don't care what you want to talk about. Like, I'm a talker. Like, you guys see, like, in our group chat every day, like, I feel like I'm probably one of the most active. Like,
you're on.
I'm a talker.
Yeah,
I want to talk about all the things.
And
my husband loves it.
We would love to have some ideas. So a way that we're trying to work on organization is to come up with maybe a handful of overall themes or categories. I don't want to say topic because I feel like the topic will be within the category.
Yeah, and categories is good.
Say like, you know, we have
whether it be like
categories over the course of
or
3
life
months.
events or not common, but current events.
Yeah, current events.
That's what I'm looking for. Like different kind of things and kind of keep it on a rhythm almost.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have a new baby, so it might be nice to have like a new parent or new baby. Like, what is this like? You know, we can talk about that once every other month or something.
And we do little baby Charlotte updates because I think
it,
all the kids are important. I don't mean to discredit any of the other kids, but you're not having any more that I know of. And
she's the celebrity baby.
I am not having any more.
She's our YouTube baby.
Let me be clear.
So she is our last baby. So
we're last.
Bobby thought he was slick the other day. He goes, when are we going to try for a boy? No.
We
are not.
Funny.
You got 2 boys right there, buddy.
Yeah.
Go on, go play some football.
He's messing though. I can't imagine he's serious.
No, he agrees. We're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All done.
I think a lot of people, it wasn't that way for me, but a lot of people, like if they get remarried, they want to have at least one together. Especially in the case, in my case, my husband already had a child, but in hers, he did not. So in most cases, I feel like they want to have more kids.
At first he did, and then after a while, it was not my idea.
I wonder if there's like any trend there, or if it truly is just the person. Because our dad didn't want any biological kids. He loved us. He's the most amazing dad.
The best.
But he's never faltered, and that he did not want kids. He didn't want to deal with the babies, anything like that. And I'm actually really grateful for it because My husband is the reason we're not having more kids. I would have them all day long. Probably. I don't even know.
You're like, maybe in theory.
In theory. But I would have more. But
He's like, I just pushed one out.
Yeah.
You crazy girl.
But he's very much like, I don't want to deal with diapers. And I'm like, that's not even that big of a deal. But seeing my dad have the same exact viewpoint is like, I get it. Some people feel that way.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's that big of a deal to some people. Okay.
No,
fair enough.
I think we had my nephew a lot. We were watching him a lot, and I think he was like, well, this is kind of fun.
Yeah.
And that kind of made him want one. And that's when the topic started coming up more, and I was like, oh, you actually want one. Are you sure?
Like, this is something you need to be real sure.
Yeah.
I was like, I can
It's
give
not
you
a
one,
daydream.
but you gotta be sure.
Yeah.
You're never sure. Not really.
Yeah.
Not really sure. You think you know.
You think
have
you
no
know,
idea.
and then you get
Yeah.
into it.
So I guess we would love to hear some thoughts on like some categories you would want to hear every once in a while.
Oh yeah, that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So we have
Give us the feedback. I want to hear.
Yeah, we would talk about doing, a baby postpartum and new baby category, and then maybe we could do like a, the sisters
Almost like
review
a
it.
puberty, almost
Oh,
like
yeah.
even like a different category, because like our kids
Right.
are a little older.
Oh yeah, they're definitely older. I mean, we could still have our normal topics where we talk about our kids and our family.
Yeah.
It just might be nice to throw in something different every once in a while, like the sisters review it, or we review a product, or we try it, and it could be we try some crazy
Japanese
new
product that
concept,
was
or
weird,
a game, or a product, or like we cook it and we try a trendy recipe or something, and you see how like terrible we might be at doing it, or like maybe it's a fun recipe.
Yeah.
And
I super enjoy cooking, so that doesn't
well, there
worry
you
me.
go.
I
So
think that would be great.
we
It's
wanna
just a
branch
matter of
out.
having someone to cater
Oh,
to
yeah.
her if I'm trying to.
we'll work that
Yeah.
out. But we're just curious, like, what kind of content would you guys be interested in? We all have something a little different going on.
Yeah, I think we just have so many ideas that some feedback would really help us kind of hone in
Yeah.
on where we should start with first.
Even if it's specific, like, hey, I want to see you
Make this pasta.
make
recipe.
a whipped coffee.
Yeah.
Like whatever you're curious about, let us know.
Yeah.
We're into it. We're interested. We're into it. Might be fun to do some like, I don't know, some like astrology or horoscope.
Oh, that would be a
corner.
good one.
I love that crap. Or stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we would love to hear back from you guys. We want to branch out. We don't want to just only talk about kids
Wanna
and
try
motherhood.
things
Yeah.
We want to branch out and reach more people, because honestly, we're multifaceted, and we can sit here and we can talk about what we know, but the fact of the matter is that it's kind of fun and more interesting to talk about what you don't know. Goodness, breathe.
I know, she
breathe.
does that weird
Get
thing.
them little lungs
Yeah.
going.
But yeah, so it almost like we were talking earlier, and there were like certain topics, and I think that you referred to them as scary topics, and there have been topics that I've been hesitant to talk about, only because I've not really had an opinion prior to it coming up, that I never want to come off as uneducated.
Right.
And I definitely, I feel like those are the episodes that I've enjoyed the most.
Yeah.
Is whenever I've gone into something that I didn't know about, but we were doing this episode, so I researched and I formed an opinion on how I felt about whatever side of it was. And sometimes it was the same as both, or different, or, and I think that that's really cool. Like,
Being able to
I think
have
the only
the
thing I
discussion.
won't talk about is politics. I don't like politics.
No politics. That's off the table.
That's okay.
I don't even talk about politics in my family. Like,
Same.
nobody knows who I voted for. Like, I don't care if I agree with you. If I disagree with you, I'm not going to talk shit with you. No.
Which
No.
is fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
I just don't do it. You cannot win.
Right.
People feel the way they feel, and they are entitled to feel that way. So it's not my job to change how anybody feels. So arguing with somebody is a completely moot point, and I'm not going to do it.
I get that, and some people it really is a pointless conversation.
Mhm.
They're not looking to to even.
Some people genuinely want to learn, but
Yes.
most don't.
But most don't. And that's something else I was going to say is that if we're, like you said, we're not perfect, we're flawed, we're learning, we don't know. We don't know.
Yeah.
And honestly, this whole podcast is about growth. It's about personal growth. It's about growth as a family. It's about growth with us in our
Individual.
relationships together and individually. And so that's basically what we want. We want you guys to grow with us. We understand that we're flawed, you know, everyone is. And we're okay with admitting that. But we want to grow together. So
Yeah.
like, let's know.
Respectfully call us out on it.
Yes.
Yes.
If there's
no trolling.
If there's something I'm wrong on, I genuinely want to know. I am not the kind of person that wants to stay idiotic in the dark
No, me neither.
at all. I would rather be wrong and educated than, I don't know, think that I'm right. I don't know what
Right.
but anyway, we need to get to triumphs for the week
Okay.
because we're running a little bit long.
Oh, of course.
But that's okay because it's an exciting episode. Do you want to go first? Who wants to go first?
We are all moved in.
Yeah.
Mostly unpacked.
Your house
and,
was feasible for a get together, so
Yeah.
you're pretty much good.
I know.
and we painted the baby's room today.
And it looks so happy. It's beautiful yellow.
It's so
a very
pretty.
happy
It's
yellow.
a really great color.
Yeah.
Mine is kind of a twofer this week, and I'm really
Ooh.
excited about it.
Two for Triumph?
Yes.
Fantastic. Bring it
So,
on.
I have been struggling about finding therapy of my own.
Oh, yeah.
I see a psychiatrist for my medicine, but actually seeing a therapist that I can like talk about why I feel this way, that way, whatever have you, and kind of like get down to the nitty gritty of it and learn some coping mechanisms rather than just do we need to adjust your medicine. And that is not a slight to my psychiatrist. She's absolutely amazing, and if she were a therapist, I would pay her whatever the hell she wanted to
That's
see
awesome.
her. But I found one, and I was real nervous because we've talked about it's been very hard to find mental health right now.
Yeah. This has been a year of therapy,
Yeah.
y'all.
So then, you know, everybody's so booked up and busy.
Yeah.
The only person I could find on my entrance list, which I feel like was a very healthy list, there was a lot of people. The only person I could find that was accepting new clients was a guy, and it was like, let me make this appointment, and if I can find a woman, I'll just cancel it with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I never did, and so I had the appointment. And he's amazing.
Yeah.
We clicked, so I've only had one appointment, and I know that he's my therapist.
That's so good.
That quickly.
That's so good.
And it's a twofer because I've also been looking for my kids. You know, my kids have struggled. They've, oh yeah.
She knows that life.
It's such a struggle. But, you know, like I want to help my kids get some coping mechanisms for going
Yeah.
forward. I feel like mental health is something that, I don't know if early intervention really applies, but if it did, I'm for it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you're ever too young to learn how to process your emotions in a healthy way. So I've been looking for somebody for my kids, and I couldn't find anybody. I've called and called and called, and my kids are 9 and 11, and somehow they're just at that age that nobody wants to work with them,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what. And then this therapist, I remembered him talking in his introduction. He was like, I see people from 5 to 80, and I was like,
Wow.
wait, what? And it like, I didn't realize it in my session, but I went back, you know, in my little thought logs, I guess. And I was like, holy crap. And I was like, how perfect would that be if we all saw the same therapist? Because then they get the family dynamic. They kind of understand like how we all play off of each other, because we do. I mean, there's situations where I might coddle Brianna and I might trigger Zoe.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. Probably
Nobody's
more
perfect.
so that I'm triggering Zoe and coddling Brianna because Zoe's older.
It's a thin line between
Yeah.
a coddle and a trigger, okay?
There is. Oh my gosh, yes.
Mm.
So, excuse me, I'm sorry. You're very hot.
She's a little fireball.
So yeah, that was like my twofer. So I haven't yet made their appointments, but I did talk to him and he's open to seeing them. And so we're going to get them their appointments. It's probably still going to be a couple weeks out.
course.
before we can get their appointments. But I was just so relieved, and I thought that just really worked out best case scenario. Oh.
She concurs.
She agrees. So what is yours?
I've already done
I know,
mine.
I'm sorry, I got confused for a second.
So, once again, we are not political on this show. That being said, this is my time to talk. And I am so happy and found it so triumphant watching the inauguration and listening to our 46th President Biden, discuss his goals. And it was so nice to hear a speech about unity and justice, and it really gave me a sense of hope. I can't tell you the last time I sat well, I didn't sit, I was during the workday, and like we just had it on the background, but like at lunchtime I was able to like focus a little bit on the speech, and it was so good, and it was just, I wanted to see it. I wanted to see all of it.
Yeah.
I think
It gave me such hope.
Yeah.
It's like, for once, it's been a hard year, you guys. It's
Yeah.
been a hard year, and just hearing him speak and hearing what he had to say, he wants to bring everyone together. It was very empowering, and it was like I had a high for the day.
yeah.
It was just so silly, because it's like, what's
No.
all like talking to you specifically, girl? You know what I'm
But
saying?
no, I think that event, like an inauguration, obviously is like,
Yeah.
it's very similar to like a new year. There's a lot of new
Yeah,
hope, new
it's like a
plans.
resolution or
Mhm.
something. It really was.
So it's that fresh feeling.
Yeah, so like I enjoyed that, and then the little I nanny for a family.
Mhm.
The little boy I nanny, he just turned 4 on Thursday, the day before the inauguration, and it was so interesting to like see him, and like, of course he has no idea what's really going on, but he
Right.
has like a vague idea that a president is in charge of us. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And he's only ever known one president because he just turned 4. So it was really interesting to like get to watch him and like let him kind
That
of
is really
see
cool.
his first inauguration that he kind of, really computes at all, because honestly
Yeah.
it's very light, and just to hear him go like, yeah, Joe, go Joe,
Oh,
and like
that's
it was
precious.
just so cute, and to feel like I was in on that. That's
Yeah.
something I love about nannying in general, is like I am in on these moments that are so precious and like once in a lifetime and firsts.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm actually, as much as I don't care for politics, I'm actually pretty grateful for them almost, because it's been a good teaching moment
Oh yeah.
with the kids,
Oh,
because it's been, oh, my daddy doesn't like this person, like with Aubriana more so.
Oh yeah.
But it's been, my daddy doesn't like person, or this person did that, and I'm like, no. You don't know that. You do your own research and you decide
Yes.
how you feel about it. We don't feel things just because mommy or daddy. I mean, both sides of the coin. There's nothing wrong with her dad. I'm not shooting him down by any means. But there was a lot of teaching moments on
Yeah.
no ma'am.
If you're gonna take a stance,
yes,
you're
you
gonna
know
know.
what you're standing
Yeah.
for.
exactly.
I
So
love that.
there's been a lot of teaching moments. So it's been, I think, good.
It's exciting,
And we
right?
did have
Yeah.
a situation. I know we talked about it, but
Yeah.
like one of my kids was parroting somebody in their life talking about the Chinese hid the virus, and I'm like, no. Let's correct this real quick. China as a whole did not come together. I don't know if the virus was hidden. I don't know. It's not my job to know that. But I know that if it was, all of the people did not unanimously vote
Right,
in China.
right.
So no, you don't get to say the Chinese people. And they were like, oh.
Yeah, you're like, don't generalize
Oh.
a whole people.
Yeah,
okay?
we don't generalize.
No.
And it was,
I would
it was
hate to
great.
be generalized in a certain
Exactly.
context as
Yeah.
an American. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that.
And she was like, I didn't think about it that way. And I was like, and that's okay, because you're still young and you're learning, and it was very much like, you're not in trouble.
Yeah.
But we are going to be educated, and we're going to know what we're talking about, or we're not going to talk
or
about it.
we're not going to
Yeah.
talk about it. Amen.
So,
Well, and
I
have
don't get it all
teenagers.
right, but
so
yeah.
same. Like they are at an age where
they're forming their own opinions on how they feel about things.
yes. So it's just been a really great way to, like you said, to open conversation and to look forward. It's nice to look forward to something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I guess that's how we'll end it off. We would love to hear back from you guys. please don't forget that you can always email us at threesistersoneheartpodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Three Sisters One Heart Podcast. And you can find us on Libsyn, Spotify, and iTunes at Three Sisters One Heart Podcast. And please, if you would, leave us a review, especially on iTunes. You know, I know we don't have the best recording equipment. We don't have the greatest lighting. We don't have the greatest audio, because this is a side fun thing for us. We would like to do more with it, but it's just not within our means. And if you can help contribute by leaving a positive review or watching the video and leaving a comment, that can help us not a lot, but to help us grow in little ways to where we can provide better and more content for you guys. So we'd love to hear back from you, even if it's just a, hey, keep it going, 2 years, who knew, you know? We'd love to hear from you guys, and we appreciate you all. Bye.
Bye.